Hello again and welcome to yet another graph problem in this series. I hope you are learning and enjoying from this series. Anyway, so here is the problem statement. You play a game consisting of n rooms and m tunnels. Your initial score is 0. Okay. Each tunnel increases your score by x, where x may be either positive or negative. You may go through a tunnel any number of times. Your task is to walk from room number 1 to room number n. What is the maximum score you can accumulate? Okay, so we are supposed to print one integer, that is the maximum score we can accumulate. And if our answer is arbitrarily large, that means it is infinite number of coins, then we are supposed to print -1. I hope that makes sense. So this is a single source longest path algorithm problem. Let's see how we can solve it, but before that, a test case. So node number 1, node number 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, the distance is 3. 2 and 4, the distance is -1. 1 and 3, the distance is -2. 3 and 4, the distance is 7. 1 and 4, it's 4. What is the longest path here? If we take 1 to 2 to 4, the answer is 3 and -1, that is 2. 1 to 4, the direct path is better, it gives us 2 coins. But the answer is 1 to 3 and 3 to 7. This is -2 plus 7 is equal to 5 coins, and that's the answer. So let's see if we have a proper strategy to solve this problem. Since we do not know how to solve a single source longest path problem, let's convert it into a single source shortest path problem. How do we do that? Consider that there are 3 nodes A, B and C is our final destination. The path from A to C, the direct path, the cost is 4. A to B and B to C, this is 3 and 2. So according to SSSP, the answer is A to C, the answer is 4, and A to B to C, this will be the single source longest path, the answer is 5. We are supposed to get 5. Let us see if we can use the single source shortest path strategy to get it. Turns out we can. How do you do that? First step, convert all edges to their negative counterpart. Edge to convert to negative counterpart. What is the advantage of that? If you now try to calculate the single source shortest path, you'll get the answer as A to B to C is equal to -3, -2 is equal to -5. And A to C is equal to -4. So now your single source longest path is nothing but the single source shortest path after converting all edges to negative. So the answer is of course -5, but -5 has to be multiplied with a -1 to get the answer as 5. The answer is the answer is 5. So we I don't want to waste a lot of time because this is going to be a long video already. So simply convert all edges to negative counterpart. That will give you the answer. Okay, now let's proceed. So can we use Dijkstra's? I already covered this in a previous video. In fact, the previous video to this one, with the exact same example, exact same diagram, we saw that Dijkstra's was giving distance of 2. As per Dijkstra's, it is 2. But with distance, as per dynamic programming, note Dijkstra's is a greedy algorithm. So if we used dynamic programming and we found the answer to the node 2, it is 4 and -3. 4 and -3 is equal to 1. So Dijkstra's will fail. We can't use Dijkstra's. Dijkstra's says answer is 2, the actual answer is 1. So we need to use dynamic programming. And we have an algorithm to do that. So that's what this video is going to be about. So okay, to give you one more example, why Dijkstra fails here? 0 to 5, no problem. 0 to A to B, it is marked as 5, no problem. From B to D, should we use this path or this path? We are going greedy, so we'll use this path. So it's 40 plus 5, it's 45, and 45 plus 40, this is 85. Very quickly, I'm not going into all the details here. But what's the correct answer? The correct answer is 5 plus 50 is equal to 55. 55 minus 20 is equal to 35. Similarly, 35 plus 40 is equal to 75. This won't make a lot of sense if you haven't watched the previous video. So please, if you haven't, go ahead and watch that one first. So now we know that Dijkstra's won't fail when won't work if there is a negative edge. Okay. So now let us see what will work. Okay, but before that I want to introduce one more concept because it's essential, it's integral to this problem. Negative cycle. Now what is a negative cycle? This is a problem we'll face when we are dealing with negative edges. A negative cycle is a cycle where every time you traverse it, you actually end up losing weight. How does that happen? Let us say you start with this point with the distance to be 5. You will reach C. By the time you reach C, your weight will be 55. And now from C to D, because the weight is negative, so you'll end up with minus 40. And from D to B, you will end up with minus 40 plus 40 and the weight will be 0. Okay, so every time you traverse this cycle, each and every time, you actually end up losing weight. Does that make sense? So in other words, you will infinitely travel in this loop and eventually the distance you will label as minus infinity, and all this will become minus infinities. Okay, so this is called a negative cycle. Okay, this is important. Just understand what's a negative cycle and be done with it for now. Okay, so having introduced negative cycle, let me define a premise. Let us say there are no negative cycles. What does this mean? When there are no negative cycle, there are no cycles like this where you end up losing weight by infinitely traversing. Okay, when there are no negative cycles, the longest possible path in any single source shortest path. Very complicated sentence. What that essentially means is, if there is a path from A to B, and if it is a single source shortest path and there are a number of nodes in between, okay, that can at max be, this denotes the number of nodes, number of vertices, so it can be 1 less the number of vertices long. Okay, what does that mean? In such a path, at max we can visit all nodes exactly once before reaching our final destination. Okay, since all nodes are visited once, we'll have n minus 1 edges in such a path. So in other words, I'll just illustrate this quickly. So if you have A, B, C, 3 nodes, you have to visit all of them. How many edges you need? 2 edges. If you have to visit one more node D, you need 3 edges. If you have to visit one more node E, you need 1, 2, 3, 4 edges. So if you have to visit all the nodes once, you just need n minus 1 edges. Okay, to reiterate, if there are no negative cycles, then we won't need to revisit a node. See, you only need to revisit a node when there is a negative cycle. Otherwise, what's the point of visiting the same node again and again in a single source shortest path algorithm? So in other words, since we won't be revisiting a node, the maximum possible length of any SSSP, so this means what? Lowest weight. This means max length. So max length can only be n minus 1 edges. Drill it down into your head. Seriously, this is going to be the heart of this algorithm. Okay, now another concept is propagation and relaxation. First, let's define relaxation. Actually, we don't need to. We already saw that in Dijkstra. But let us understand what relaxation means in this context. So currently the distance of B is infinity. And distance of A from A to A is 0. And the distance due to this edge, edge AB, is 10. So what relaxation means is 0 plus 10 is less than infinity. 0 plus 10 is less than infinity. So we simply rewrite it, we relax it to 10. This is called relaxation. And propagation of relaxation means what? You'll see that in a second. So let us take two orders. So let us relax node edge AB. So when you relax edge AB, 0 and 10 versus infinity, this becomes 10. Okay, just follow what I'm doing, and it will make a lot of sense by the time we are done with this slide. 10 and 20, 10 plus 20, it's less than infinity. So we relax it to 30. 30 and 30, it is less than infinity. So we relax it to 60. 60 and 40, it is less than infinity, it is 100. So we relax it. So we could relax all our edges in one stroke. In one stroke, we could relax all of them. Okay, so there was no concept of propagation. Instantaneously the relaxation propagated. But consider another case. Consider another case. Order DE. When you consider order, this order, in the first time when you try to relax, this won't be relaxed because infinity plus 40 is not less than infinity. Similarly, this won't be relaxed, infinity plus 30 not less than infinity. This also won't be relaxed, infinity plus 20 not less than infinity, whereas this will be relaxed. This will be relaxed. 0 plus 10 is less than infinity. Yes. So this will be relaxed to 10. Next time when you do the cycle, nothing changes. This won't be relaxed. This won't be relaxed. C will be relaxed. C will be relaxed to 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. Okay. So second cycle, suddenly the relaxation we made in the previous cycle is propagating. Now let us see what happens in the third cycle. In the third cycle, nothing changes here. But here, the relaxation that happened in the previous step is propagated. It's propagated to 30 plus 30 is equal to 60. Okay. And in the final cycle, this also gets relaxed. So in other words, each cycle, one relaxation happened. And how did it happen? By propagation. Simply put, this was our best case. Single cycle. This was our worst case. 4 cycle. Why did we need 4 cycle? Because notice there are 4 edges. Okay. Also, what this means is, again we have to go back to a premise. The longest possible path in any single source shortest path is number of nodes minus 1 edge long. Okay. So in other words, all propagation will have happened worst case in n minus 1 steps. Very important. What happens after that? Let us see what happens after you have successfully propagated. So this becomes 10, this becomes 30, this becomes 60, this becomes 100. No matter how much you try to repropagate, nothing changes. Let's see. 0 plus 10 equal to 10, 10 plus 20 equal to 30, 30 plus 30 equal to 60, 60 plus 40 equal to 100. So in other words, n minus 1 steps if you have relaxed, we can say that the propagation is complete. So with these two premises, let us now study the algorithm. This algorithm will be called the Bellman-Ford algorithm. Okay. What does the algorithm say? First, given the premise that the longest path in any single source shortest path is n minus 1 edge long, if we perform n minus 1 propagations along all e edges, propagation is complete and we have single source shortest path. Exceptions exist. What exception? Later. Suspense. Okay. So in other words, I want to reiterate, we perform n minus 1 propagations and we know that we have the answer. Let's give a demo. I'll walk through it a bit slowly so that it will make sense to you. I've intentionally chosen an inconvenient order. This is the worst case. First, let us make an estimate. How many relaxation cycles do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 nodes minus 1 is equal to 4. So 4 cycles will be needed. Okay? 4 cycles will be needed. And what is the order? We'll first attempt to relax this D, E, then we'll attempt to relax D, then we'll attempt to relax B, finally C, and then A. Okay? Let's go. So first step, let's look at DE. In case of DE, nothing happens. Why? Infinity plus 40 is not less than infinity. Okay, so nothing happens here. Similarly, nothing happens here. Likewise, for BD perspective also nothing happens. This also no change. Only propagation that happens is from A to B, which is 5. So infinity gets rewritten to 5. That's the only propagation that happens in first cycle. Okay, second cycle. Second cycle, see what's happening. First, let us speculate. Let us speculate. So we are doing things in this order. Correct. So because our answer we have propagated till here, I am betting that this C and D will get relaxed. Yes, C and D are getting relaxed. Let us see how that's happening. Relax in order DE. DE. Okay, for now this is infinity. For now this is infinity. Okay, infinity plus 40. Is it less than infinity? No. So no relaxation happens here. Okay, now let's look at CD. I'm going about this somewhat slowly. CD. CD, what's happening? Infinity minus 20. Is it less than infinity? No. Why? Because infinity is an infinite concept. Okay, infinity doesn't change. So no relaxation happens here also. Now here is where things get interesting. BD. Is there relaxation happening here? Let's see. 5 plus the distance 40. Compare it with infinity. Compare it with infinity. What is your answer? 5 plus 40 is 45, and 45 in any number system is less than infinity. So we simply rewrite infinity to 45. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so BD we could relax. What about BC? What about BC? In case of BC, 5 plus 50. 5 plus 50, it is less than infinity. So one more relaxation. This becomes 55. So this also relaxed. Can we relax AB? No. Why? 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. No relaxation. So two relaxations happened. See, two relaxations happened in this cycle. So by second cycle, we have relaxed this and this already. Okay, now let's go for the third. What do you think will happen in the third cycle? In the third cycle, finally the relaxation in D will propagate to E. That's what will happen. Let's see. In fact, there is something more that will happen. As you will see, it should happen. 5 plus 40 is equal to 45. Also 55 minus 20, this is equal to 35. So this 45 should go further relaxation. So let us see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. So let us start our third cycle. Third cycle. Okay. So I'm first going to strike all this down because life needs suspense. So this was 45 and this was infinity from the previous slide. Okay, so let's start the third cycle. DE. What does DE mean? 45D plus DE distance 40 versus infinity. This becomes 85, and 85 is less than infinity. 85 is less than infinity. So we strike it down and we make it 85. Did we do a relaxation? Yes, we did a relaxation. Next, let's relax CD. What do you think? Do you think you can do a relaxation here? Okay. C, distance to C is 55 minus 20. So that is 35. And 35 is less than 45. So there is another relaxation here. This is getting relaxed the second time. In fact, in the previous step, it was already relaxed. So yes, one more relaxation. Can you relax BD? BD? No. Why? 5 plus 40 is greater than 35. So no relaxation. Can you relax BC? 5 plus 50 is equal to 55. No relaxation. Can you relax AB? 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. So no relaxation. So we ended up relaxing D and E. So now let us look at the fourth step, our final step. Why is it our final step? Because remember, we have 5 nodes, so we have only 4 relaxations. Let us see if that will give us the answer. So what do you think will get relaxed in the next step? This will have to definitely get relaxed because remember we updated this. Okay, so let's see. So this was 35 and this was 85. Let's start. So 35 plus 40, it's less than 85. So what is it? 35 plus 40, that is equal to 75. 75 is less than 85. So we will do a relaxation. We'll make it 75. So DE, it is 75. CD, can you do any relaxation? 55 minus 20 is equal to 35. So no relaxation. BD, can you do any relaxation? Not even in the previous step. 5 plus 50 is equal to 55. BC, can you do any relaxation? No. Rather, I just did BD, BC. I confused things, but neither case I can do any relaxation. AB, no relaxation. So the only relaxation we could do is DE and we updated E. Okay. So after that relaxation, this is what it looks like. Final state. Final state. Is that the correct answer? See, it is the correct answer. If you are looking at distance AE, the best way to do it is go from A to B, 5, B to C, 55, C to D, 35, and D to E, 75. That's the correct path. And what did Dijkstra's tell you? The Dijkstra's gave you the answer as 85 and it gave the answer for D as 45. Clearly our dynamic programming approach is better. Okay, clearly it is better. We got the correct answer. Okay, so negative edge, Dijkstra fails. Dynamic programming, that is Bellman-Ford, it wins. Okay, so what is the algorithm? I'm just summarizing it here. I just demonstrated it to you. We need to relax all edges. So this would be something of the form auto E edges. We need to do it for every edge. We need to do how many relaxation? N minus 1 times. So for I is equal to 1, I less than N plus I, keep doing this. If there is no negative cycle, our answer is the final answer. Why can't we deal with negative cycle? Because remember, N minus 1, it is just enough to take care of non-negative cycle. That was our assumption. But what if we have negative cycles? What do we do then? First, let us see what happens with Bellman-Ford when we have negative cycles. When we have negative cycles, let us relax this 4 times in the reverse order. Okay, and see what happens. I'm going to very quickly walk through this. First, B is getting relaxed to 5. Nothing else is changing. Next, C is getting relaxed to 55 and nothing else is changing. Remember, this is a cycle. This is the negative cycle. So this is changing, nothing else is changing. Next step, third relaxation. This is getting reduced. D is getting reduced from infinity to minus 40. Nothing else is changing. Fourth and final step, because D is updating, this is the most critical step. Because D is updating, minus 40 plus 40, B will be relaxed to 0. Okay, and 0 plus 50, this will be relaxed to 50, and minus 40 plus 40, this will be relaxed to 40. Okay, let us see if that's what's happening. Okay, DE, E is relaxed to 0, DB, B is also relaxed to 0. Then we have CD, nothing is happening in CD step. BC, 0 plus 50 is equal to 50. Original answer was 55, new answer is 50. This is also getting relaxed. AB, nothing is changing. So we are doing 3 relaxation in our final step. So what is the meaning of this? This is our final answer. This is our final answer as per Bellman-Ford. But pause here for a second. Is this the final answer? It's not. Why? Because let us say you start your journey from A and you go to B, C, D, B, and you keep on doing this. Every time you do this, because this is a negative cycle, I have already shown it why in the earlier section of the video. So you will eventually get minus infinite weight. So this distance is supposed to become minus infinity, minus infinity, minus infinity, and finally when you get there, This distance also is supposed to become minus infinity. That is our correct answer. So can we use Bellman-Ford to somehow get this answer? So keep that in mind. Then let us see. Let us relax it one more time. What happens when we do one more relaxation? When we do one more relaxation, 50 minus 95, it is becoming minus 45. I can do it in this order and show you. DE, nothing is happening. DB, nothing is happening. CD, there is a relaxation happening. BC, nothing is happening. AB, nothing is happening. So yes, fifth relaxation, we have a change. What does Bellman-Ford algorithm says? N minus 1 iterations implies no more changes. And what is the reality? Reality is we have a change. So what does that mean? This means that D is part of negative cycle. That's what it means. As simple as that. So if it is a part of negative cycle, let us not stop it at minus 45. Why minus 45? Let us just label it as minus infinity. Why? Because it is going to keep on reducing and it is going to become minus infinity. Now once this becomes minus infinity, our task becomes very simple. We just have to propagate it. How many steps will we take to propagate it? N minus 2 steps. Or okay, let's call it n minus 1 steps. In n minus 1 steps, because we have already started, the impact of this minus infinity would be propagated everywhere. That is what our theory was about so far. So let's go ahead and do this for 3 more steps. Sixth relaxation. When this is minus infinity plus 40, this also gets returned to minus infinity. Minus infinity plus 50, this also gets returned to minus infinity. Minus infinity plus 40, this also gets returned to minus infinity. And that's exactly what's happening. Everything has become minus infinity. The order was DE, this got relaxed. DB, this got relaxed. CD, nothing happened. BC, minus infinity plus 50, relaxation happened. AB, nothing got happened. So sixth relaxation, we already have 4 infinities, 4 negative infinities. Now, let's continue. If you do the sixth iteration and sixth iteration, you can see there is no scope for relaxation. Why? Minus infinity here already, minus infinity plus 40, minus infinity. Similarly, minus infinity, minus 95, minus infinity plus 50, minus infinity plus 40, minus infinity. In fact, if we had a cycle like this and keep its weight as, let us say, 100, even this will become minus infinity. That propagation would have happened in this step. So in other words, if we modify Bellman-Ford, we can detect all negative cycles and we can label them as all minus infinity. So what is the solution? If you have only negative edge, if you do number of number of vertices times number of edges, you get the answer. First part. Further, if there are any negative cycles, if we just do this twice as much, we can get the negative cycles also. So in other words, the complexity is order of number of nodes times number of edges, order of VE. So this is a very important conclusion. You are supposed to use BFS when there are no weights. We saw that in an earlier video. When you have positive weights, use Dijkstra's. This is greedy. It's better than Bellman-Ford but worse than BFS. But when there are negative weights and negative cycles, you have no option, you have to use Bellman-Ford. Okay. Now let us look at our solution. In our solution, we were supposed to find max coins. So we labeled all edges as negative and result is equal to minus 1 times result. Okay. So let's go ahead, look at the input legend. We define infinity as a number extremely large, negative infinity as negative that number. This is an edge. First indicates starting location. This is an integer, vertex 1, vertex 2, edge weight 100. So this will be stored as triplet 1, 2, 100. Okay, simple stuff. And a graph can be seen as vector of edges. If you have all such edges, you have graph. N indicates the number of nodes, M indicates the number of edges, no problem, all this is easy, and this will give you your SSSP, the single source shortest path from the origin to every other vertex. Okay, let's go ahead. This is the propagation phase. This is when we determine, in case there are no negative edges, we'll get the answer. In case we have no negative cycles, this will give us the answer. So anyway, what does this step say? For n minus 1 iterations, okay, each edge in vector of edges, okay, each edge, we just step 1, okay, let us call this vertex u, vertex p. If the distance from origin to u is infinity, I don't need to bother calculating u plus d versus v. Okay, I don't need to bother. So this will simply continue. Okay, next two steps. This is the relaxation step. What this does is, distance of v is compared with distance of u plus distance uv. So if it is correct, if we are finding that there is scope to relax, it will relax if scope, otherwise it does nothing. Okay, similarly, what does this step mean? This is a very critical step, more so for the next part. But what does this step do? Remember, negative infinity is negative infinity, but we have defined it as a number, that is minus 1 times 10 power 70. That's how we have defined it. So what this does is, if you have to compare minus 1 times 10 power 17 versus minus 1 times 10 power 17 minus 100, this is smaller, right? Minus 1 times 10 power 17 minus 100. So it will reset it. So if you are dealing with a number like minus 1 times 10 power 17 minus 10,000, this will be reset to minus 1 times 10 power 17, because this will be the max of the two. Okay, so this will create a floor for you. Okay, so what happens at the end of this? You'll keep on relaxing each edge, and you will do all these relaxations n minus 1 times. Okay, now we are done with the propagation phase. Now we have to identify the negative cycles and label such nodes that are affected by the negative cycles as minus infinity. How do you do that? The second part of the algorithm, this is very clear. U, distance is infinity, V, it doesn't matter, we'll simply continue. Here, what are we doing? We are doing a reset. I just explained it in the previous statement. If you are dealing with 10 power minus 10 power 17 versus minus 10 power 17 minus 400, you will reset it to minus 10 power 17. Okay, otherwise you'll have infinity calculations and comparisons, very nasty. So next step, if distance of u plus d is less than distance of v, what does this mean? This means u v. So if this is 100 and this is 40 and the distance here was 180, it means we will perform a relaxation. It will become 140. But remember, by the time we are reaching here, we have already covered n minus 1 cycles. So this is after n minus 1 cycles. What does this mean? This means that relaxation after n minus 1 cycle, so it is a negative cycle. So in other words, we have to relabel it to minus infinity. And we have to repeat this step for all edges n minus 1 times. At the end of it, our distance vector will have SSSP. As far as the solution of the problem is concerned, if the distance is equivalent to minus infinity, we have to print minus 1, because that was the demand of the problem. Else we print minus 1 times, this is important, minus 1 times distance of v. Why? Because we have to convert a negative single source shortest path to single source longest path. Okay, with this I finished my explanation. Now let's go ahead and submit the code and get our all correct. Thank you. Okay. Yes, it worked very efficiently. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want more such videos, and please hit a thumbs up and like this video. Please click on the notification icon so that you'll get to know when I post new videos. Thank you very much.